Hello and welcome back here to Lanchester Cricket Club. Our short break there. I hope if you join us again, you're very welcome to indeed. Tyne in the chase here, 54 for 2, still 205 away from their winning score of 259 after Lanchester made 258 for 7 in their innings. It's Callum Barnes who's on the attack here for Lanchester. 2 wickets to his name so far, and that's driven this time by Crichton for 1 in the gap there between cover point and extra, and it's Brinton who fields it, and there's a single to Crichton, so that takes the score to 55. 204 now the gap. Barnes to Fletcher this time, Ollie Fletcher, who drives this one. But straight to the fielder there, Brinton in at extra cover, and that's the end of the over, the end of the 19th over. So 19 overs gone. Tyne 55 for 2, and they need 259 to win. We had an hour's break for rain here this afternoon from 5 o'clock until 6, but we've got Greg Halliday coming back to bowl, so we got underway again at 6 o'clock. And we've got Halliday about to bowl to Crichton this time, the right-hander, Jamie Crichton. And Halliday has bowled his 5 overs so far, and he bowls this one outside the off stump. And Crichton plays and misses. And Tyne here just trying to ease back into it as Halliday bowls again outside the off stump, and no shot offered this time from Crichton, and Potts takes it nicely behind the wicket there. He's standing close up with 1 slip for company. Now here's Halliday again. Moves in. He's on the way. Full, and it's over behind the air, chip to the leg side, and it'll go for 4. And over the head there of backward square leg, not far away from the fielder at all, and Crichton gets himself 4 runs up towards just to the left of the scoreboard, across on the far side, where down behind the third man boundary. Very fine indeed, almost straight on to the pitch here in the clubhouse, and again thanks to the nice people here at Lanchester who let us use the clubhouse to broadcast from. As Halliday bowls again outside the off stump, and Crichton just lifts his bat out the way, and Potts takes it behind there, and there's no run. Crichton just settling in now, with Fletcher for company at the other end. Here's Halliday up he comes and bowls, and it's got up from a length there, and Crichton leans back on it and plays it out towards the deep square boundary to the right. And he gets a single, so the score goes to 60. And now the gap comes down to 209, and there's a drive from Crichton this time, and he's got 4 runs for it, so 4 to finish off the over there. Now we'll get you an update on the score here at Lanchester. So 64 for 2 Tyne, and that requires them another 195 to win. 195, I beg your pardon there, 195 to win for Tyne here, with 8 wickets in hand. So Barnes it is who's got the ball in his hand, who's going to take up the attack. In he goes now and bowls to Crichton this time, who defends it back about halfway down the pitch, and Taylor comes in from extra cover there to pick that one up. So we've still got the slip in place, and here's Barnes, moves in again now and bowls, and Crichton there just drives again and plays out to Brinton there at extra cover. So we've got 2 extra covers, an orthodox 1 Brinton, and close extra cover, that's Taylor, and a slip, and that one rushed on to Crichton a bit, and he just hits it safely enough out to Halliday there at mid wicket. That's Greg Halliday who fields that one. Now here's Barnes again, goes in to bowl, and that one just sat up, and Crichton was on the back foot, punching that one out along the ground, and it's fielded there at point, and there's no run. So Crichton faces up to Barnes again, and he goes, bowls, and that one's on the stumps. And it was a bit of flight in that one above the batsman's eye line there, and it was full, and Crichton drove it straight back along the ground. Barnes picks up and bowls again. Crichton drives again into the left side there, into the offside, and there's no run, and that's the end of the over. It's picked up by Stewie McPhail there at deep mid-off, and there was no run either there. So 64 for 2, Tynedale needing 259 to win. They're still 195 short of their target here. And it will be Fletcher who is going to face the next ball from Halliday, who moves in towards us now with one slip and that short extra cover again. So we've got the same field again. We've got one slip, a gully, a backward point, 2 extra covers, one close in, one on the 30-yard circle, a deep mid-off, a deep mid-on, a mid-wicket and a square leg. Now here's Halliday, moves into bowl. Fletcher twists that one away to the leg side, but it goes straight to Barnes there at mid-wicket. And a couple of bounces, sees Barnes pick it up safe enough and throws the ball around to Taylor, who pops up a little catch to Halliday now. And Halliday just turns at the end of his run. Here he comes now, bowling to Ollie Fletcher. Fletcher lets this one outside the off stump, and it's Potts who takes it cleanly there behind the wicket. And there's no run. And Halliday just moves back into position again now. He comes in and bowls, and that's a nice shot for 4 from Fletcher. Spun the wrists on that one, whipped it away past the left hand of the diving Barnes there at mid-wicket, and it races up towards the football field for 4 runs, and it's up to Taylor to go and collect that one. So 4 at the end of the over there. And that takes the score to 68, and the margin comes down now to 191 as Halliday in to Fletcher again, who again tries to play away through mid-wicket, but doesn't time this one, and there's no run. So it stays 68 for 2. Canton, Parker, the men out so far, as Halliday just turns to come in to bowl again towards us here behind slip and bowls, and that's turned away past Barnes' right hand this time, a little squarer, but they'll just get the one as Barnes fields it now and throws in to the wicketkeeper at this near end, and there's a single at the end of the over there. So 22 overs completed here, Tynedale needing 259 to win, or 69 for 2, and the gap now, the margin of victory for Tynedale is 190, and at the end it's Fletcher there who's 12 not out now, and Jamie Crichton 7. And the scorecard so far: Tom Cant caught Petch, bowled Barnes 17, Parker caught Crooks, bowled Barnes 19, and it's going to be Barnes to take up the attack now to the right-handed Fletcher, who's forward defending into the leg side this time from a slightly over-pitched ball there from Barnes. Quite straightforward to Fletcher to come down and get to that one. Barnes bowls again now, a better length on the off stump this time, and Fletcher just defends it out there to the offside. Taylor bends down at a short extra cover to collect that one. Barnes again now, flights one up, and it's driven down towards us here, but it's nicely stopped by Aaron Halliday there in at a very straight deep mid-on. And there's no run, so Barnes moves forward again between umpire and stumps to bowl around the wicket, and Fletcher just turns this one to the leg. They're going for it, and they'll get there. Leg by, signalled by umpire Aslam that time, and it was just went towards leg stump, and it was just turned round the corner off the pad. A shot attempted at it though, so one more to the total. It's 189 now, the margin to victory for Tynedale. And Barnes bowls again, and Crichton lets this one outside the off stump, and Potts collects. And now we've got the rain coming again, and it's raining now here at Ashley Park, Lanchester again. And there's Crichton, who's forward defending one from Barnes, and that's the end of the over. So it's 74 2 now, Tynedale. 23 overs gone of a maximum of 50, and they still need another 189 to win, or 8 wickets for Lanchester to take here. And it's going to be Halliday to bowl again. Umpire was Aslam, still out there now, just filling in his little notebook. He'll keep them out there as long as he thinks possible, as 1 or 2 players just head in towards the clubhouse now, as Halliday it is again, this time to bowl to Fletcher, and he leaves this one outside the off stump and there's no run. So Halliday bowling here. This will be his 11th over, none for 29 so far. Barnes 2 for 25 from his 11, and Avon Halliday none for 6 from his 1 over. As Halliday bowls again, Greg Halliday this is, and Fletcher just drives this one out, and it's stopped quickly there in a short extra cover by Brunton. So it remains 70 for 2 here. Can they beat the rain, or will it beat the play here at Lanchester's? Greg Halliday is in again to bowl, and it's fallen on about middle and off stump there, and Fletcher's just forward, playing out there to Brinton again in a short extra cover, and there's no run. As a Morrison's wagon just disappears away towards Durham on the back road there. In comes Halliday again, Greg Halliday, and bowls outside the off stump, and Fletcher doesn't offer a shot that time, and Potts takes it behind the stumps in his lime green wicket keeping gloves there. Here's Halliday again now on the leg stump. It's in the air, it's chipped to the leg side, but it just falls short of Taylor there, who had to run quite a long way in the end to collect that one, and Fletcher gets through for a single, but that did go in the air, about 3 foot in the air for a while, but a single to the total. It takes it to 71, and now the margin comes down to 188. Crichton pull shot deep into the leg side, and 4 runs there, a couple of bounces over onto the football field just beyond the right hand side of the houses across to wall left, and 4 to finish the over there from Crichton. So the score at the end of the over as Tynedale needing 259 to win, or 75 for 2, and the margin to victory now has come down to 184, and this will be the, I think there's 24 overs gone now. I haven't seen the scoreboard change. Yes, just clicked over now, it's just updated itself, and we've got quite heavy rain now. The carpet cushions are being brought in off the seats from outside here at the clubhouse. As in goes Barnes, they're still playing, and Fletcher goes forward and lifts his bat up and lets this one through to the wicketkeeper. Potts takes that one. Now here's Barnes, moves in again, bowls, and Fletcher just defends this one back down and onto the leg side, and it comes down just off the straight there, and it's Avon Halliday who picks that one up. And he gives the ball back to Barnes, who looks a bit dishevelled out there now. He'll be finding it hard to grip the ball here, as in he goes and bowls as the rains gets heavier here, and it's flicked away through behind square across to the right. It's fielded now, and in comes the throw, and Fletcher takes a single, and that takes the gap now down to 183 as the score moves to 76 for 2. And off they come. The rain has got too much here, and they're coming off again here at Lanchester at just on 7 o'clock. So if you're joining us, if you're just about to join us here, the players are coming off. The covers are rushing on now. They've got all the volunteers out there now, and on they come. 1, 2, 3 big covers coming on to cover the pitch here. And the fielders have scattered the 2 batsmen, the 2 Tynedale batsmen. Crichton and Fletcher they've scarpered for the shelter of the dressing rooms. Umpire Was Aslam plods off again as we have our second spell of delay here through the weather. We had an hour between 5 and 6. Just as the tea break finished, Craig Halliday there signalling to get the kettle on. But umpire Aslam here just making his way off as well. The covers are now just about in position. A lot of youngsters out there as well helping along. Whether hope one of them doesn't get trapped under them covers. But there they are. The covers are going together over the pitch now. It looks like it's Potts who's directing things up at that top end. He's got one glove off, pointing to something down on the bottom side there, on the right hand side of the covers. He wants them caught together. He wants them put together. There we go. He's done the job himself. Now he's making a hasty retreat while he lets everybody else get on with it. He's on his way back to the changing room himself now, and it's the kids are still out there as well. Brinton's putting a sheet over the bowler's run up at this near end to us. The sheet, there's no sheet at the top end yet. Somebody will have to go and fetch that. Or that bowler has run up at the top end where Halliday has been bowling from. It will get a little bit greasy because it's coming down quite heavy now, and there's no sign of the cloud breaking here at Lanchester at the moment. The weather coming over from behind us here today, and there may be some blue sky in the distance, but it's not showing yet as the weather comes across from the direction of Durham, right over the clubhouse and across from the houses behind us. So there's one sheet in place at this end for the bowlers run up. The covers are in place now, and there we go. Everybody scarpers for the changing rooms and the dressing rooms, and there's that the captain Stuart McPhail down at that far end just checking things out there. So there we go. We're on our second break here for the weather, just at 7 o'clock. So if you're just joining us on the hour, as we normally do here, an update here from Lanchester is that Tynedale needing 259 to win, or 76 for 2 after 24 overs, and that means they require another 183 to win, or Lanchester to take the 8 wickets here. But the time might get important here, as we've got an hour and a half's time left in the match. The cut-off time is 8:30 here, so we've got an hour and a half, including the time for this break in the rain to play here, to be at the club. So I've just heard somebody there say half an hour, but 76 for 2 Tynedale. They still require 183 to win, or those 8 wickets for Lanchester to take, and that was after Lanchester made 258 for 7 in their innings, and it was Brinton who started the day off well with a nice 51 before he was caught out by Parker. He was the opening bat there with Mark Small. So the scorecard from Lanchester: Graham Brinton caught Parker, bowled Renton 51, Small LBW Renton 12, Sam Crooks bowled Renton 7, Story caught Crichton, bowled Renton 1, Greg Halliday caught Crichton, bowled Scott 70, Brian Potts caught Crichton, bowled Percival, that's James Percival 63. Excellent 5th wicket partnership there of 126 from Greg Halliday and Brian Potts. Kieran Taylor caught Stevenson, bowled Cant 21, Callum Barnes not out 8, Aaron Halliday not out 1. Hayden Petch didn't bat, and neither did Stuart McPhail, the captain. There was 24 extras, 6 byes, 12 leg byes, 4 wides and 2 no balls, and the wickets fell at 41 for 1. That was Small. Then Crooks went at 55 for the 2nd wicket, Story for the 3rd at 63. Brinton then lashed at 1, and he went for the 4th wicket at 88. Then that 126 partnership from Halliday and Potts, until Potts was out for the 5th wicket at 214. Taylor then strode along, came in, flexed his arms and got a couple of sixes or more, and he was the 6th to fall at 241. And then Halliday was last to go, trying desperately to stay there for a not out, but he was the 7th wicket to fall at 255. The bowling: Matthew Scott for Tynedale, 12 overs, 1 for 53. Josh Renton, 12 overs, 4 for 35. Percival, 1 for 77 from 12. Tom Cant, 12 overs, 1 for 60. And Ewan Stevenson, 2 overs, none for 15. And there were... and that's it for the bowling. I thought I saw another one on the bottom there, but obviously not now. The Tynedale scorecard is they took up the reply at 6 o'clock after that hour's delay for tea. The scorecard: Tom Cant, Court Petch, bowled Barnes 17. Parker, Court Crooks at slip, bowled Barnes 19. Fletcher, I'll just update the scorecard here. Fletcher, he's not out at the moment, along with Jamie Crichton. Fletcher not out 17 and Crichton is not out 11. James Rainford, Josh Renton, Ewan Stevenson, Matthew Scott, James Percival, Sam Peter and Archie Fletcher still to come. There's been 11 extras so far in the Tyndale innings. 4 byes, 1 leg bye and 6 wides. And the wickets fell at 45 and 46. And Avon Halliday, it is 1 over, none for 6. Greg Halliday, 12 overs, none for 39. Callum Barnes, 11.1 overs, 2 for 25 when the rain came for the second time here. So that's where we're up to in this 16th match of the season here in Division 1 of the Northumberland and Tyneside Cricket League. Lanchester versus Tyndale, and I tell you what, if this rain does happen to keep up, it'll be a shame, because the match is set nicely here. Slightly, well, a little bit more than slightly in Lanchester's favour at the moment, but it would be a shame if we can't get a result here either way for either team, because Tyndale with a young team, a few absentees today. The young bowlers have done their best today, bowling first, and from Lanchester's point of view, it will be the first time they've won here against Tyndale at home for the last 6 seasons. You have to go all the way back to 2011 when Lanchester won by 5 wickets against Tyndale. That was the last time they won at home against the West Tyne, the Hexham club. And that day, who was playing that day? Just got the scorecard here. Gary Hunter playing for Tyndale, 67. Stephen Smith, 37. Tyndale, 145 all out that day. Lanchester, 148 for 5. Nathan Hudson got 48. And Graham Brinton there, 5 for 45 from his 15 overs. So you remember them days when you could bowl 15 overs. Nathan Hudson, 48, and Graham Brinton, 5 for 45. Who was Smith 2 for 24 for Tyndale. Just recapping, the last time Lanchester won against Tyndale at home, way back in 2011. Poor old Tom Cant was run out for a duck that day. And Dan Parker played in that match before. He batted number 11 that day before he left the club and came back this season. He was down there at number 11 way back in 2011. But as the rain continues to fall here, it beats down on the tarmac outside, the concrete. Tyndale 76 for 2. They still need another 183 to win, and this is in today's game in the Northumberland and Tyneside Cricket League. But I'll leave you for a moment. We'll go for one of our adverts here on Cricket West Tyne, and I'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Cricket West Tyne program on Spreaker Online and Podcast Radio in association with the Royal Oak Country Pub, Cornsey Colliery, experts in business consultancy, and Cannon Bristle and Dairy Products. Drink well, eat well, do business well, listen well.
That was a word for a couple of our sponsors on there, and I've just been having a look through here. And while Stacey Lavery reads a magazine while this rain break is on, and it is still falling out there, the scoreboard, the little scoreboard, just over on the far side, about come opposite us here in the clubhouse, shining brightly amongst the gloom out there. Lanchester have produced a nice match programme today. Simple but effective, a nice 3-sided flyer here. And the teams are printed in there as well. And I was looking at Brian Potts, the wicketkeeper there. There's a good photo of him. And he scored 63 today. He was born all the way back in 1983. The wicketkeeper. And he's got a favourite cricketing memory here winning the 2003 league with Lanchester and the Tyneside League Cup in 2012 with Sacriston, and he was captain of Sacriston that year. His sporting heroes, Michael Bevan and Nigel Martin, a cricketer and a footballer there, or more precisely a goalkeeper, if that's the Nigel Martin. Crystal Palace, Leeds, whose first love, he was on the telly the other day, or on the radio, one of the two, Nigel Martin, and he was saying his first love was cricket, in fact. And he would have given all his caps for England because he was England's #1 goalkeeper for a long time in the mid-90s, early to mid-90s. And he would have given all them caps back just to play once for the England cricket team. And Michael Bevan, well, what can you say? They go on about today's big hitters. Well, Michael Bevan, when he was at Yorkshire for a while, but Australia, he was up there. Him and Neil Fairbrother were some of the first big hitters, and they were specialist one-day batsmen. And Michael Bevan, he could destroy bowling attacks in the glory days when the BBC still had the coverage of such cricket. You could have had Michael Bevan. He was a real, as I say, they talk about big hitters now. Well, Michael Bevan could hit them as well, and he could time the innings to perfection too. But Brian Potts, they were his sporting heroes. Nigel Martin, when he played for Crystal Palace, I think he was a goalkeeper. He played in the 1990 Cup final, FA Cup final, and going 3-3 between Manchester United and Crystal Palace. Was it Mark Hughes scored 2 goals that day, and Ian Righty, when he played for Crystal Palace, scored a couple of goals as well. 3-3 in the final, it was a draw, and going back then as well, when they replayed the final on the Wednesday night, and I think Manchester United won that one 1-0, and I'm not sure if it was Mark Robbins who scored for Manchester United, and that was it. So, hold on, we've got some interesting news coming up here while I gather away. So has that been called off, has it? Yeah, it's been called off. Oh, there we go, that's the match done. While I'm blathering away here about Brian Potts and all these things, we've just been informed there that umpire was Aslam, and all the needed people have decided that that's it for the day here. With the rain still falling, the cover's on, and we've seen some good, excellent cricket at times here today. But that sadly is it from Ashley Park today. And the players are just making their way in. The match has been abandoned here. Lanchester versus Tynedale, and the second match of the season for the two clubs in the league. The 16th game of the season has been abandoned to rain and the gloomy and awful weather here now. So no sign of it letting up. So that's it. It's a draw. Lanchester 258 for 7 in their innings, and Tynedale, when the game has been abandoned, 76 for 2 after 24 overs. So that's it from Ashley Park today. So I'll speak to you again. Oh, before I go, let's hope we have some better weather tomorrow, and we'll try and get some updates and commentary of the First Division Knockout Cup final from the West Tyne League tomorrow. It's the finals day, the West Tyne League finals day at Prior's Flat at Hexham tomorrow. So let's hope the weather fares up, and we get some cricket over there. But we'll try and get you some commentary. That match to start somewhere about 4 o'clock, because they've got the Second Division 2020 Cup final first about 1 o'clock, and then we'll see. About 4 o'clock we'll be on the air for some scores and updates from the final, the First Division final there. It's between Haltwhistle and Humshoff in the West Tyne League. So do join us tomorrow afternoon, or watch out for us tomorrow afternoon as well, and listen in for some more cricket. But I think that's about it from here at Lanchester tonight. Thank you to Lanchester for letting us broadcast from the clubhouse again. We've had a good chat with most people that have crossed our path here at our little window in the clubhouse this afternoon. But with this match abandoned to the weather, a draw, Lanchester 258 for 7 and Tynedale 76 for 2 when the weather intervened decisively for the second time. But there we go. It's good night from Ashley Park at Lanchester, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Do join us tomorrow, or after that we'll be back next Saturday as Tynedale Firsts play Shelty Bridge over at home over at Prior's Flat at Hexham. But for now, it's good night from me and good night from Ashley Park, Lanchester, with this game having been abandoned to the weather.